Here we go. Hello, hello. It's Julie Davison. I have a special guest with me today, Sharon Groves, who sent me an amazing project, a whole book of cards. And so today's video is going to be sharing every detail of that amazing project. And Sharon, I'm so glad that you're joining me for this so that you can give us the background and the details of this awesome project. Before we switch the camera over and show off the A Case for Julie book, I would love it if you would introduce yourself and share a little bit about your stamping journey.
Well, Julie, I am so thrilled to be here, and what a great opportunity just to meet you. And I feel like we're meeting in person, even through Zoom. But it was just such when you started asking about and telling us about your 20th anniversary, it just started me thinking about how I could honor you and all
Oh,
the things that you have brought into my life over the last couple of years. But then as I have been stamping for really seriously just for the last couple of years, and buying more of the Stampin' Up products. But the I met a first Stampin' Up demonstrator back in 2004, and she was a respiratory therapist that worked with me in Texas. And I bought two of her idea books, and I have carried them with me around the country and cherished them, and I did not loan them out to anyone. And so then when you started talking about your journey and the time that you have spent growing in this, I was just excited to go back and look at those books again, but then even to look at the videos and the demonstrated cards that you have on your blog. And it was as if I got to watch you grow up through this whole process. And as a mom with children probably your age, um, and or maybe older than you, I just felt like I had such a connection with you. And I think in watching you over the last couple of years, that is what you bring to everybody, that they watch you and you just are such a light into our worlds through this very strange medium that we have all had to adapt to. And it was just such a joy. For each card that I touched, each thing had kind of a personal connection to who you were in your life and your family. And again, I had used about 50 different book videos, since I
yes.
never made a book before. And then found out I had to expand it 3 times to hold everything, because not what I was doing. But again, I looked at that as part of the process that you encourage us to do. You encourage us to grow through our experiences, through this very strange form of paper, ink, and stamps. And I got to just channel a little bit of you for all
Oh,
3 months that it took me to do this.
that is incredible. And I am still so honored and humbled that you would send such an amazing project to me. I think if I spent that much time working on something, I would not I would not be able to give it away. Um, it,
Well, I
it
think
just
you when I sent it to you was I would start, and I opened up my letter to you that said, I am not crazy. I just want you to know I'm not crazy, but I just felt so inspired to be able to create something for you that just honored your years of bringing so much joy to us and to the world. The crafters out there who have followed you, and still, still we can go back and see some of your very early projects. I encourage all of you to go do that. It really just is such a you can just see your journey so clearly and all that.
It has been a long one. As you said, I just celebrated 20 years as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. That was in June of this year. So I started back in 2002. So right around the time that you were getting those catalogs from your friend. And so much has changed since then. My family has undergone many changes. We've moved several times. We had 4 kids. And it just seems like it's been busy. I feel like I have grown up with Stampin' Up! It's true. And I forgot what I was gonna say there. Um, oh, I was gonna the blog. So I started blogging around the time, um, when I was pregnant with my third child, Elise, and so that was around 2008. So there's a lot on the blog at juliedavison.com, and it is sort of like a diary, like a creative diary or a creative, like journal of the things that I was creating and what was going on in my life. And so I love that you followed that journey and looked back at some of that, because there are so many amazing projects that I have forgotten about. It's been 14 years, and so there are some that I haven't thought of in 14 years, and you found some real gems to inspire you. So let's flip the camera over to the desktop so we can take a look at this amazing book, this amazing project. All right, here it is, a case for Julie. Oh my gosh, I have to tilt it up so you can see just how just how big this is. This is so incredible. And you were just telling me, Sharon, that you kept adding on, and I don't think you can tell. Like, it looks like it was always intended to be one big project. Well, I want to explain really quickly, because we use the term case a lot, but for someone maybe who's new to paper crafting, you might not understand what that acronym means, but we use it a lot. And I think traditionally CASE stands for copy and share everything. I prefer to say copy and selectively edit. And that sort of lends to the idea that we're inspired by something. So it's not necessarily that we've copied it exactly, but we've taken some creative license to make it our own. And sometimes that's a matter of just using the stamps and the materials that we have that may be different, or a color combination that's different. There's so many ways that you can case a project. And so a case for Julie it literally is a case of cards, but also just that idea, right, of being inspired. And I love this card here on the front. We have to start with this one. This is a wiper card, and just incredible. I love this so much. So of course, this is one of the tutorials that I have on my YouTube channel. But you were just reminding me, tell us the story about the otters and why you chose them for the cover.
Well, when I had first, one of the first videos in therapy, on the Thursday night therapy classes, you did the otters and you featured them. And I had just gotten the otters. And so I was so excited to be able to see, what were some of the things that I could do. And we actually talked back and forth on the chat about the otters and how my son loves otters, and I was excited to be able to make cards for him now, because that was a something that was still manly, but it kind of tapped into his still sort of his boyish side. And so I had to put that on the front, and the wiper card just amazed me, because it was the saw on the demonstration. And I just thought, well, I'm going to put 2 otters there. One's for you and one's for me.
Oh, I love that so much. This is a fun card to make. It is like a little bit tricky. And this is one, I swear, I made this video. I probably started it 4 or 5 times because I kept like messing up and had to get myself oriented. But it is a really fun one. And once you've made it, I think it's a lot easier the second time around.
Well, and I think you do such a good job in just walking us through all of the steps. I mean, that was my one and only attempt at it. And I just felt, oh no, and then I could add all of my embellishments on there that kind
Mhm.
of up. But getting the wiper part, I think you did just a great job in walking me through that.
That is always a goal of mine, is to make to be duplicatable, to make it easy for other people to experience the same joy and crafting that I have experienced over the years. And so my style very much is, I always say, like, clean and simple, but also easy and fun. And so I think you've captured so much of that in this book. Let's open it up and let's see what's inside. This is just so incredible. There it is, copy and selectively edit. I love it. So then on the inside, each of these little pockets and corners, that one was, I should have gone through and put this back together again. You just had so many details here with everything that was tied together, and just so many amazing things. So the first thing tucked in here is the little poem, A Case for Julie. It all seems so simple, just some paper, stamps, and bows, but in the hands of the artist, it's her heart that truly shows. With each card she makes, her joy is in the time she takes to give to others a brief escape. If you were to case this artist, you will find her grand design is in the joy she brings to others with simple paper, inks, and twine. Thank you, Julie, for 20 years dedicated to your crafting art and for giving to us all a case for your Heart by Sharon Groves for Julie Davison. Oh my, I'm gonna cry again. Every time I read this, every time I look at this, it truly just brings tears. Like, it's just so incredible. In all the years that I have shared on the blog and on YouTube and on Facebook, it truly just has been a way to express myself creatively, and to share that with others in hopes that they would also be able to create simple and beautiful cards. And um, I am, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It
that
means
those
so
of
much,
us.
Sharon, that just the simple sharing um, came through in the way that it did.
Well, and I think that is what is so well. I think that's what you bring to us all. You know, you really just give us sort of that freedom to just create and just to have fun doing it. And when I was going through the book, I was like, "What is wrong with you? You're making what?" What is she going to see in those? And I just, and I would set it aside and then I would come back to it. I just felt so compelled to be able to bless you and to bring some joy to your life, just to maybe give you a little bit back of all that you give to us. And this first card was for that first year. So I figured the number one on the cake was to celebrate your first year of being
Oh,
here. And again, I didn't put any sentiments in it because I know on the Great Big Card Swap, which I still have to do, I still have not officially sent in a great big.
oh,
I have a stack of cards here that I'm thinking, oh, I'll send it in. I'll get it there in time for that. So I actually have the embossed card in a padded envelope.
oh.
Oh, I may as well just send the Christmas card now because that one has already passed, but I'm just going to stick them both in the same envelope. But I sent them to you as a way that you could put any sentiment or give them out or whatever you wanted to. But I tried to use as many of my Stampin' Up papers that I had, just to be able to celebrate celebrate you through your own products. So
I love these. And the detail on the back, like stamping, all of this is stamped. You
yeah,
handmade that.
that
Um,
one of those stamps that I had found at the hospice store from that year, from 2001. And then I tried to fill in the numbers. So on that page, it has the year of it. stamped in between some of those. So
Just incredible. So you found some older stamp sets. Tell us about the where you found them again. You said
so
it was the hospice store?
it's a hospice resale shop, and so all of the donations that people bring in, then those funds go to the hospice, our local hospice. And so it's a beautiful store to go in and support anyway. And then I discovered this little corner that had all of these stamps, and and realized that they really went back to your very first years in stamping. And it was just like a treasure to be able to, well, I I was probably a little annoying for the other people who wanted to go through the stamp basket. I actually would pull the basket out, sit on the floor, and I would dig through the whole thing and sort them out by year.
Oh
And
my goodness.
nobody else was getting down that aisle until until I was done. And that's just a little booklet. And I think in the I made the frame so that if you could, I may have, I'm trying to remember back, but the frame was just to kind of set aside that to frame your art, but also for you to be able to write down any memories or anything that you wanted for your last 20 years. And that just gave you a little book to do that in.
I love that. As I'm looking through these, like I remember all these stamp sets, things that I just haven't thought about or used in so many years. It's so fun to see all of these again. So I noticed on some of these you have, I don't, maybe it was later on, maybe they've fallen off. There are some markings on the back.
Well, and
Like
the other one I wanted to tell you that I love the in style, because on to capture your style. And I thought that was so great that was one of the first ones that,
mm,
and that's what we're doing. We love your style, Julie.
oh,
And that was just a way of just like, oh, this is the perfect stamp to be able to express that.
I didn't even catch that. I love that little detail. So some of these, like this one, I recognize. This is one, a retro serigraph. I remember doing this technique and sharing it on the blog. So some of these are using older stamps, but some of them you actually did copy layouts and techniques that were
Yes.
cards that I've posted.
Yep. And they were from that year. So that the stamps that had those defined letters like that were
Mm-hmm.
from 2003 or 2004. I'm trying to remember now.
This one
And
says 2005 on there.
oh, that one's so fun. So I went back to the blog and recreated that case that design from that year in your blog.
Oh my gosh, so incredible. And then we have some pieces from the catalogs, which reminds me, in between the pages, there are pockets.
Yes, there's a pocket that has the envelopes. And then I thought, well, that would give you a place to put any memories from those years. It gives you something to kind of store in the little envelopes. And that's from the 2005 catalog.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Tell us really quickly, how did you make the envelopes? Did you have an envelope maker that you
Ooh,
scored?
I have the envelope scoreboard. And
Okay.
so yeah, that was one of those tools I got over the COVID.
We were talking about how how things kind of well, how you found me over COVID. I certainly have been stamping longer than that for 20 years and sharing online longer than that. But COVID, I think, was that time everyone was locked down and it was just so easy. That was when I started the regular Thursday night stamp therapy Facebook Lives, and it was just so much fun to do that every week and to um share new stamping projects. Unforgettable. That's what you are. Oh, I'm gonna sing.
Yep.
This is just incredible to me. Like all the pieces. How did you decide um what stamps to use and how, like, what layouts to do?
Well, those stamps. There was a technique that you did where you use those on a card. I think they were like laid out across the front of a card. And so instead I made just like little note cards out of them. So you could put little notes on the back of them to celebrate that year. And I think that was the 2006 stamps for that year. And then I think that page, and again, looking at all the different book creators, from folios to albums to just what the they would use a flip page or they'd use the magnet or something like that. And I'm like, oh, that would be good. This is a way to showcase this this part of the journey.
I love that. And everything has designer paper or I don't know how well you can see it on camera, the embossed texture. Just every little detail. So incredible. I remember this one, the Paisley stamp sets.
Yes. And it was in the last, and I knew it was in the last 2 years where you featured doing that bookbinding technique, but I could not find the video for it. But I knew you did it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that paper, but I had to use a more recent technique that you showed us. So
I love it. There's room for pictures.
Yes.
And to add that. So I'm going to have to customize this and add some notes and journaling and photos. Although back in the beginning when I first started, I didn't have I didn't even have a cell phone, let alone a smartphone. So a lot of my pictures are still on film and in boxes somewhere. I've gotta find them to pull them out from the early years.
And then there was an actual case of, but I used the papers that I had, but it was one that you did. I tried to copy that one exactly. With the little ruffle on the bottom and the trim paper on the inside. But yeah, I just think they're and again, just being so simple, but just beautiful. And just brought all of that. And of course, you are the queen of tarot cards. So I had to have some way of celebrating that.
This made me laugh. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Right inside the queen of tarot cards. Oh, it made me smile.
I had to make
my own little crown.
Mm-hmm.
So more envelopes inside each little pocket to use. And some of these are older pages of the Stampin' Up! Catalog. And so I like just even looking at some of the products on here, like I remember these Simply Scrappin' kits that we used to have. And I had this one with the baby, and I remember making little baby books for my kids. Of course, all 4 of my kids have only known Stampin' Up! My oldest is 19 years old and my youngest is 12. And so every stamp set, every image reminds me of things that I created for when they were babies, baby announcements and birthday cards. And
that card that represents each of your babies. So there are 3 girls and 1 boy.
I was just catching that. Oh my goodness, Sharon, you really thought of everything. That is just the cutest. So many fun cards here. This one was one of my favorite, and this is almost an exact case with the bumblebees and the fun little spiral pop up. Oh my gosh, I just love that.
Love that set. And it actually this year, so many people have been doing the bumblebees. I mean, they're back and they're the hot new, what's old is new again. So
that's right.
Yes. And You Are So Loved. I just got that set with my grandkid set last year. And I thought, oh, you know what? You are so loved, Julie. So I thought that just a great way to celebrate you. But again, case that from one of the cards, just the way you had it.
I love it so much. So I have to know all the stamps that you got from the hospice store. Have you kept them all? Have you
Oh,
donated them?
oh, I have them in a 12 by 12 tote sitting right here at my feet. And when I retire next year, I'm going to use them all. So
Oh, yay. How
so
many of them are wood mount stamps?
I think they all are. Oh yeah, they all are, and even the little boxes that the stamps came in, that you can store them in, those were even for sale. So I would
Oh, wow.
get those, and then I would get all of and I would just like line them all up in there so they could see the prices on them and take off to the register. I'm buying these, and so I have a place to even store them.
I can't even fit all of this on camera because it is so big. Oh, look at this one.
Yeah, love that. That was one of my favorite ones that you showed us how to do. And this is one of my favorite papers. This is one of the first papers that I had bought when that came out a couple of years ago. Now it's been almost 2 years since that paper was, and the stamps that sort of go with that. But this flower pot one, this is I love this one. And you did such a beautiful job showing us how to do this. And I just yeah, I couldn't wait to put that one in there.
I loved that card too. I remember that one. 2017. I feel like it was longer ago than that, but time flies when you're having fun. And of course, the different paper. I love how you made the same cards, but you kind of used different things and used what you had, because that's always is my goal, is to inspire people to use what they have. It's not just about, shopping and buying stamping supplies. It really is about using what you have and being inspired to create wherever you are with whatever you have. And you've just done that so beautifully with this portfolio. Oh, this was a fun one with the
Yeah,
diagonal fold.
yeah. And and that one was challenging. And I think I had a couple of I had to make that one a couple of times. But I tried to carry the papers throughout, so it was the golds and the greens and the black and white, and then of course coloring. And you have taught us all how to color, and so and colored ones in there too. I think that one was stamped. I think I used the stamp that went with that, the color in that stamp set. That was the 2-step stamping. But I think that was, and you were saying about encouraging us to use what we have. And I think that's really what endeared me to you, was that you weren't just like in it to just sell product, which is good. I mean, it's your business. That is what you should do. But it just made us, like look at our things and what do we have be able to use to create, and it's okay. It's okay. Use what you have.
Exactly. Oh, I love this one. I remember my version of it had candles.
Mhm.
And but I did the same little flags up there, and I love it. This is just such a fun one, like a card inside a card, just going different directions. Every time I look through this, I'm always noticing new details or new things, and I feel like I feel like it just never ends. It's the never ending. So you said there's 20 cards. This was in here. 20 cards, one for each year, that I've been a demonstrator, which I just think is so incredible. All that detail.
And I love that one too, that with the little banner on it. And I can tell you, these are, I had such a fun time learning, just being like, oh gosh, this is a new technique. I have never done this before. So I get to learn and then be able to share it with you and tell you thank
Oh, I
you.
just love it. And I love this.
And
Like,
paper, I know. Isn't
The
that
way
fun?
you've created your own designer paper throughout this book is just so amazing. It's so beautiful. It looks like it's designer paper, but it is all hand stamped and
Mhm.
hand created. So this one's got two little pockets that fold up. This other card, so beautiful with the spotlighting technique and the
Mhm.
detailed die cuts.
It was, what can I do a little different? And because I think that's what you challenge us to do, like do something a little different, take the same thing
Mm.
and play on that. And then those colors went so well with the daffodil paper. And, again, I was just blown away by how many different things I could do with using the papers and stuff that I had.
You've got to send in your cards, Sharon, for the great big card
Oh,
swap.
I do. And that Tuesday nights at the Great Big Card Swap, that I absolutely was just like blown away by how much attention you give to all of the artists who send their cards in. And when you were collecting the birthday cards for one of um, who was turning 100, or
Oh, Winnie, yes.
I thought that was so sweet. And I love seeing all the cards that people made for her. I just thought that was amazing. What a great
It
thing for her.
it was so I love that so much about the great big card swap. And the reason I started that, I had a birthday, and I asked for cards for my birthday, and I got so many amazing cards. And then I felt like I just wanted to share all the cards that I was getting with everyone that sent one. And so that was sort of how I came up with the Great Big Card Swap. And so I started it a few months later, and we did the Great Big Card Swap. So everybody sends in a card, and then I share them all. And I love that you said, I always try to really be encouraging when I share the cards, because sometimes and I know so many people at home feel like their cards aren't good enough, and they are. And so I try to be encouraging to everybody, because I know that it takes a lot to share, to share your art and to share a piece of you, right? Something that you've created with the world. And so it just means so much that so many people do share their cards and share a little bit of their heart. And then I love, my favorite part of the Great Big Card Swap is getting to send back Happy Meal to everybody who sent a card, because so many people have said that they send and they make and send cards all the time, and they never get cards in the mail back, and that makes me so sad to hear. And so the Great Big Card Swap, you send in a card and you get one back. And so everyone can have Happy Meal and experience that joy of going to the mailbox. And the shape of a card, the envelope is different from all other bills and mail. And so the joy of receiving that shaped envelope.
And haven't we needed that over the last couple of years? And
Yes.
I go into, you're on this Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie, and I can tell you, my mom moved in with us back 5 years ago, and we just had not had a connection over crafting. And she crochets and I do this. But when we started watching A Sunday with Julie and Susan, it was such an inspiration for her and I to do this together. And
Oh,
we started making cards for shut-ins at church, and just encouragement cards for those during the COVID, and that just that everything's going to be okay and that you're being thought of. And I think you and your mom just, you bring that encouragement to us to do it together, and to, find those people that you love, and share in this craft, and be able to bless other people's lives. So that was actually your Mother's Day card that you made on that first Sunday.
yes.
It's the I don't know if I think I stamped that paper, um, and then did that version of your card that you did for your mom that day.
I love that so much that Sunday stamping has inspired you and your mom to stamp, and that you've taken on that mission of sharing your creations with others and just spreading that joy. That makes me so, so happy to hear, Sharon. I love that. So much. I wish we had started Sunday stamping sooner. We've been doing Sunday stamping for a year and a half now, and it's our weekly video series on Sundays, because Sundays are family day, and we pre-record the videos so they're not live, but there's an opportunity then for us to stamp together and to share, and then on Sundays, which are family days, we have the opportunity to share that video and chat live with everybody, and I love sharing a little bit of our mother-daughter relationship with everybody. Mom has also been a demonstrator for 20 years, and we don't get to stamp together very often because she lives in Michigan and I live in Illinois, and so we just don't physically see each other in person very often. But I love that we can share that, and I love so much that to hear about everybody on the other end who's watching and inspired to stamp with their mothers or daughters or sisters or friends, because that truly, like, um, that's what stamping is all about, right? Is connecting with people. And if you can stamp together in person with someone or stamp together online, and have that connection, and just share that.
And my
Share.
mom is in Arizona, and for over Christmas. So she was telling me on the phone the other day that my sister she's staying with out there, she's gonna have to get her to make some cards with her to send because she won't be home to do it with me. So she'll make sure that the rest of my sisters get involved in this eventually.
I love that. I love that so much. Oh my gosh, I forgot what was at the end. This is so incredible. And this technique I have not done yet. It's
You
been on
have-
my list to do. And so I love that you included that, because it's sort of for me like
I'm waiting
like
to do it.
looking forward, it's like a future of crafting for me, and all the things that I haven't done yet and all the things that are to come. Make it count. T is for thanks. 20, you are so loved. And one last otter. Oh my goodness. I just am so touched and so moved by this, Sharon. Truly, it is an incredible work of art that I will treasure um, for forever.
The paper that I put on the back, of course, was from one of my catalogs, but I think it said what you used to say about it being the idea book. And
Yes.
the whole journey that I walked through with you for those few months that I put this together, but the 20 years that you have invested, you have been the idea book. You have brought your ideas and your casing to all of us, and that has been an inspiration to me, for all of your fans out there and those who you inspire every day, just to continue crafting and to find joy in it. And I'm so thankful for you to do that.
Oh, Sharon, thank you so much. I'm going to switch the cameras back over so we can wrap up and say goodbye. Let's see. Thank you so, so much. I think you just I think you perfectly wrapped it up with what you just said. Like, I hope that I will have another 20 years of inspiring crafters to create using what they have at home, crafting with their family and friends, and sharing the cards that they're making and making a difference in their community through paper crafting. So Sharon, thank you for sharing with us how stamping and how paper crafting has made a difference in your life, and you truly have inspired me to keep doing what I'm doing and to keep sharing stamping
Well,
with others.
my mom is 86. And so I hope in 20 years, I'll still be alongside with you, if that'll put me at 86. So she's watching, and maybe then at 86, I'll still be watching you and watching you to continue growing in your role and your inspiration to other people.
Oh, I hope so. Sharon, thank you for your time today. Thank you for sharing with us and giving us a little background story to this amazing gift. And thank you again for this amazing gift. It truly is a keepsake. Like I said, I will cherish for many, many years.
Thank you. And it was my absolute blessing to do it. So thanks, Julie.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.